I'm just going to bring in our political correspondent, Amanda Acas, because, Amanda, I understand the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, has now made a statement. Just bring us up to date.
Yes, he has in the last few moments. Let me read it to you. He said, Iran's nuclear programme is a grave threat to international security. Iran can never be allowed to develop a nuclear weapon, and the US has taken action to alleviate that threat. The situation in the Middle East remains volatile and stability in the region is a priority. We call on Iran to return to the negotiating table and reach a diplomatic solution to end this crisis. So that's a very diplomatic statement, clearly, from the Prime Minister, who has been calling throughout this crisis for de-escalation, for a diplomatic solution. We've seen David Lammy, the Foreign Secretary, flying between Washington and Geneva, trying to hold talks with other Europeans and his Iranian counterparts to bring about some kind of negotiated diplomatic solution to bring an end to the Iranian nuclear programme. Clearly, the UK government was hoping that Donald Trump's talks of a 2-week pause window to wait for such a solution to be found. The UK had been pinning its hopes on that, but that clearly hasn't happened. Now, Sir Keir Starmer, obviously also a very close ally of Donald Trump, has invested a lot of political capital building a close relationship with the American president, not at all critical of this action, reiterating the UK's concerns about Iran's nuclear programme as a grave threat to international security. We do understand, however, that the UK has not been involved in these strikes operationally, no military assets involved and no use either. That would suggest of the UK military base at Diego Garcia, which the US does operate from but needs the UK permission to do so. That seems not to be the case. It looks like the US bombers, we understand, were heading towards the US base in Guam, but that is still nothing has been confirmed in terms of the operational military situation from that perspective. We've heard nothing from the MOD. In terms of the political reaction in the UK, we are having a few lines coming through to us. Reform UK, they've put out a statement saying they stand behind the military actions of the USA overnight. Iran must not be allowed to have nuclear weapons. The future of Israel depends on it. Former Defence Secretary Grant Shapps also come out critical of the Prime Minister's diplomatic stance, saying his calls for restraint were dangerously naive, saying Donald Trump has made the right call, not just for Israel, but for the situation in the Middle East more broadly. Of course, opposition MPs on other sides don't agree with that. Plaid Cymru, for example, they've come out saying this will create a more volatile, potentially uncontrollable position in the Middle East, and they don't want the UK to be involved in an escalating war there. Now, clearly, Sir Keir Starmer is very well aware, as an eminent international lawyer previously, of all the implications of this. The Labour Party deeply scarred, of course, by Tony Blair's decision to join the invasion of Iraq with the US. So clearly, politically, there's a great deal going on behind the scenes in Downing Street today.